Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. So today I want to go over a few topics on basically how to get the best gear in the game as you level up and then well into the end game. Now, it's not crafting and it's not going to be find them on the ground, especially in POE 2. So what we're going to talk about is how to use the trade site. Now, one other thing I want to mention is right now they have a sale on stash tabs. Now, this sale usually comes out the second week of league. Now, I wasn't sure if it was going to happen because this technically isn't a league, but we are in the second week of the beta launch, and they do have it. I think it rotates out every 3 weeks. So now is the time to get your stash tabs. The reason I bring up stash tabs is because stash tabs, premium ones, are how you interact with the market. And I've had a lot of friends that are new players asking me what stash tabs should I buy. So I'm going to go over all of that. I'm going to show you how to use the trade site and basically how to get the basic gear. Like you can see, I've used this while leveling. I think I'm like level 47 on this character. I went through, I was almost to Act 3 before I took my first death, and it was off screen. So, I mean, this has made it so it goes really fast. It's really what you want to do if you're struggling with the game, or you just want to like blow through monsters and really feel powerful. This is the way to do it. So talking about stash tabs here, we'll go over a few things. So if you hit K, you're going to come over here and go to your shop, and you're going to see that all of your stash tabs are on sale. Now, you have 300 at least if you got into the beta. Hopefully you didn't spend it on any visual effects or, other stuff like that. But if you still have some money left over, either 300, 600, 1,000, whatever you got in, this is the week that you want to spend it. Now, I recommend 2 tabs as mandatory. The first tab is going to be your currency stash tab. You want to make sure that you get this. The next stash tab that you're going to probably want to get is your gem stash tab, and I'll show you why. And then if you still have some money left over, you definitely want to get some premium stash tabs. You can buy singles for 30, or they have like a whole 6-pack here for 165. So if I had the 300, that's what I would buy. I'd buy a currency, I'd buy a gem, and then I'd come over here and I'd buy a 6-pack of stash tabs. Now, if you have money left over, I'd say get an essence tab, maybe get a quad tab. This is like a dump, but again, we don't get a lot of gear in Path of Exile 2, so maybe we don't need a dump tab. We can just go with these stash tabs. Unique collection's pretty cool, but it only holds 1 of each of the items. Delirium is going to be for end game, so you don't really have to worry about. But flask is nice, but again, we only have 2 flasks, so this is more of just a nice to have. Eventually, I say buy all of them. Whenever you get money from going through and doing these supporter packs each league, I would just push them in the stash tabs. Premium stash tabs are going to be your biggest thing, because this is how you're able to use the trade site. Without this, you cannot participate in the selling aspect, which is very important, as I'll go over when we get into it, because leveling up with gear is basically not costing me anything. I'm actually making money by having better gear as I go, and I'll tell you how. So here in the stash tabs, so this is what the gems look like. You can see that's freaking awesome. You want to make sure that you have something like that. Anytime I have a gem, I basically click it and it goes right into there. So there's another thing called affinities, which I'll show you how to check it. Right here, this exalted orb that I got, and I got this from selling, you can basically click it, and if you have affinity set up, it's going to automatically take it to the currency stash tab, or whatever you have set up for these items. So you can see here, since I have affinity on gem setup, I click on here, boom, it goes there. So to set those up, you're going to right click on here, and then you're going to make sure affinity is checked, and then you're going to check your gems. And then once you do, you go okay. Now, I have all of the stash tabs because I've been playing this game for quite some time. So just to show you which tabs are available, in case you wanted to see, this is what the flask tabs look like. You can set life, mana, you can see by level. Again, I think it's cool, not really necessary. Delirium, we're going to get to that once we get into the later game, so it's nice to have a tab for that. Uniques, again, these are only going to store one, which is kind of a pain, but at least it gives you like a little list so you can see all the different ones. Now they have a lot of question marks on it. In POE 1 they didn't, because we knew what they were, but I think they're still like an air of secrecy, so they're not showing us what they have, but eventually they'll probably break it out. But you can go through here and you'll be like, oh, you know what, I'm re-leveling another tune. What do I have in quivers? Oh, I have this one, you know, so it's nice to have. Essences, these are for crafting and they're really great to have, so it's nice to have them kind of broken out in here. Also makes it a lot easier to sell. And then currency, which I showed you, I think this is a mandatory. If you have the money, make sure you at least buy this, followed by this, because this is really nice to have, as you can see. And then make sure you get the stash tabs, because what we can do here is now we can go through and we can actually sell stuff. Now to sell stuff, what you would do is any one of your tabs, you'd basically right click on the screen and then you would set it public, and then you can choose, I want to have these each individually priced, set a negotiable price, or set the exact price on all items. So this is what we would do. Now the reason why I have so many stash tabs, and this is a quad tab in case you were wondering, the reason I have so many is because what I like to do is, you know, here the market's a lot different, but in regular POE I would set one for like 100, 90, 80, 70, and then I would just cycle through. Anytime I get an item, I'd be like, oh, this is worth, you know, 90, and I'd drop it in there and I'd see if it sold, and if it doesn't, I'd lower it to 80 and then lower it to 70. So it's nice to have that and not have to manage things individually. If you only have a few slots, you might have to manage it individually, but what I'm doing here is basically I've set up a bunch of these tabs here, and I have it set to 1 exalt. I have 3 tabs set to 1 exalt. I have some 2 exalts, 3 exalts. You can keep going as high as you want. And then essentially when I get back from farming, instead of dealing with and being like, oh, how much is this, I don't know, what I'll do is I'll just toss it in 3 exalts. If it doesn't sell after a while, I'll just right click, I'll drop this tab down to 2 exalts. If that doesn't sell for a while, I'll drop it down to 1 exalt. If that doesn't sell for a while, I'll then go through and sell it to the vendor. So that's how you can easily start selling items without having to put a lot of thought into it if you have a bunch of stash tabs. So I think that's really important. So now that we know how to sell, now that we know what tabs we want to buy, let's talk about how to get this awesome gear that I have. So in order to get incredible gear, you have to use the website. I believe you even have to do it on consoles. I know consoles used to have a way to do it within the game. That's no longer a thing. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to go over here to Path of Exile, and then we're going to go to the trade. You're going to want to make sure that you are signed in. So it's automatically going to sign me in probably, and I'm going to show you how to use this to the fullest advantage. So this right here is the trade site. So let's say I'm looking for a bow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change my item category. I'm going to put in bow. You can also type bow. For item rarity, I don't want rares to come out. There are not rares, uniques, because I'm not interested in unique. I want rare. That's usually going to be the best in the game unless there's a particular unique that your build needs. And then we're going to go through and we're going to do a couple more things. So for stat filters, I want to get an idea of what I want. So I know some really good things for the bow are going to be projectiles. So I want to hit the tilde button, and what the tilde is going to allow me to do is not have to type in verbatim what I want. So I could just be like project level, and you can see now it's showing number to project level of all projectile skills. So that's what I want. So I want that on my bow. And then I might want something else. So like, let's look at my bow now. So another thing that I want is the implicit, which is going to be that bow attacks fire an additional arrow. So here, I'm going to pull this back up again. We're going to go tilde, bow, fire, an additional arrow. Now there's 2 of them. There's the explicit, there's the implicit, and there's an enchant. So what we're looking for, I believe, is the implicit. So this is going to be the one that's above all of the different stats. So if you look over here, you can see that it sits there above the stats. Boom. So boom. Now the 40% increased physical damage, that's coming from these right here that someone has put into it because I purchased this. And then we're going to come down. So then there's some other things that we're going to want to do. So here, we're also going to want to make sure that we can use it. So again, I'm going to hit C. And I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm level 48. And at level 48, I only have 29 strength and 20 intelligence. So I want to make sure that whatever I'm buying, I can actually use. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say max level 48, right? And then I'm going to say strength, let's say 25, intelligence 25. We don't want anything that's going to have more than that because we're not going to be able to use it. We can do the same thing with dexterity. So for dexterity, I have 173. So 173, boom. Then down here, I'm going to say buyout price. So we're working with exalted orbs, which seem to be the currency of choice this league. And essentially, I'm going to say I want to buy a bow that's under 5 exalts. So now I have everything set up, and I'm going to go ahead and hit search. No items found. Now it's probably because of this implicit here. Oh, max mana. Never mind. Boom. I don't know how that got there. Let's see. Boom. Yeah, so here we go. So now you can see that we have a bunch. Now we're going to modify this a little bit. So what I'll do is anything I click on, it's going to allow me to choose that item and then select the higher or the lower. So it's going to do a sort by. So here I'm going to say, okay, 4 is the max level I can get. So what I want to do is now the minimum I want is 4. So I'm going to go ahead and hit search. So now you can see that we have this right here. So now every bow that's going to be listed is going to have 4. Now the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, what bow has the highest DPS? And then bang, I'm going to click the DPS down here. And it's actually this one with 88, which is not the best, but okay. So you can see here, I can pick up a bow that fires an additional attack, has 4 levels to my projectile speed, increased accuracy, adds some fire damage for only 1 exalt. This is an awesome bow. And then what you can do with that bow is you can add the 2 sockets to it, and then, you know, you'll see here, I can put another 40% increased physical damage on that bow. So right there is basically how you use the auction house. Now say I want to buy this bow, what I would do, and you can see how long ago it's listed, I'd hit direct whisper. This will whisper the player in game. The buyer will then send you a invite, okay? And then once they send you an invite, they will usually go to their hideout. If they're not in a position to go to their hideout, they're still early in the campaign, then whoever can come to who will come to that person. So a lot of people don't have hideouts set up yet, so sometimes you'll end up like lower, you know, you can only get to Act 2, so the person will recognize that and they'll come to Act 2. If you're in Act 3 and they're in Act 2, then you may have to go to them. Normally what happens is the buyer goes to the seller. The next thing that you want to do is the seller will also open the trade. You don't want to open the trade first with the seller because they may still need to go to their stash and get it. So that's just basically how it works. So that's how we go. Now I'm going to show you one more example, and this one's going to be a little bit more advanced, but it's also good to know. So here we're going to say we want a ring. Okay, and on our ring we're going to want, you know, plus life is a good one, plus mana is a good one, things like that. Or, you know, better yet, let's do boots. So boots, you're going to want movement speed. You're also going to want some resistance probably. So what we do is we go here to the filter. We're going to change this to boots. Boots. We're going to do a lot of similar stuff that we did before. We're going to say, okay, 62 dex is going to be the requirement. So down here in requirements, we still have it basically the same, level 48. I put in all my minimals so that or my maximums, so I make sure that I can use the item. Same thing with exalteds. Maybe this one I only want to spend 2 on. Okay, projectiles isn't a thing on boots, neither is this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the tilde, and then we're also going to do, we want max life on this. boom. And then we want to only look at things with like a max life of at least 90. Then we're going to want some movement speed, some move speed. So boom, increase movement speed. Here we want at least 20%. I know it goes up to 25, but hey, I'm going to be happy if it's got at least 20% because I'm tired of moving so slow in this game. Then we're going to do something cool. We're going to go here. We're going to add a stat group. We're going to do a weighted sum. And then here in the weighted sum, we're going to say, okay, we want cold resist. We want fire resist. We want lightning resist. Maybe some chaos resist. Boom. So now what we're doing is we're setting up a weighted sum. I don't even have to put a weight here. It's automatically going to weight it based off of each one of these. Okay, so then when I search now, we're going to get a list of our boots. But this time, if I click the sum, it's now going to give me the list that has the highest sum. So it's going to say, okay, 27 lightning here is greater than 23 cold. And then you have things like here where you have 21 and 12 lightning. So that is 33. It's a little bit different because it comes up here, but you can start to see you have weighted sums based off of it. Now, say you're looking at your character and you're like, okay, well, for my character, I'm really low on lightning, so let's weight that at 1, and we'll rate the rest at 0.75. You know, maybe chaos is really good resist, so we'll rate that at 1. We can also do this, give it a new weighted sum, and now it's going to say, okay, we know what you're looking for, and we're going to basically say, you know, if it has lightning or chaos, it's going to be slightly weighted higher. So you can see, again, we get these, and this is a great pair of boots. 20% movement speed, 136 max life. It's got extra dexterity, and we know because we put in dex that, you know, we're already looking at dex type items. You can also put points into evasion if that's what you want to search for. And then it's got 27% lightning, some stun threshold. So this is a really great one, only costs 1 exalt. So if I wanted to buy this, and maybe I'll just go through the process to show you because I can always resell it. So here we go into the stash. Do I have at least 1 exalt? Oh, whoops. Currency? Boom. Okay, so I'm going to use my last exalt to show you guys how this works. So back over here, these boots, direct whisper, boom. Now you'll notice when I whispered them, now it's going down here. It's saying this, it's automatically converting it. This guy is now opening a trade with me, so I'm going to accept it, and then my game is going to crash. What the heck? No! Come on, Path of Exiles. Do better! So let's see what happens. My goodness. You guys probably like, wow, he didn't want that. Maybe he changed his mind. He had 100% movement speed on leaving my party. So let's see. It may have saved it. I don't know. I thought they fixed a lot of these crashing issues. I haven't crashed in days, but that's pretty funny. Oh, perfect. So I'm still in this guy's group. He came to me, it looks like, because he realized that I can't do it. So I'm going to hit accept. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to check, make sure they're the right boots. He's going to check. We hit accept. Complete it. We now have a set of boots. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. I'm going to whisper this player and I'm going to say, thank you, TY. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the stash. And since I don't actually need these, I'm going to flip them for 2 exalts. And then hopefully I end up making an exalt out of this. So essentially that's how you use the site. There's one other thing I can show you in the Act 1 area of Cruel, which I am in now. You can talk to Renly. This is something that they added to Path of Exile 2 in the last league. So here Okay, maybe it's not this guy. Well, anyway, there's a guy. Is it Una? Una, are you the person? I might not have him unlocked yet. Let's take a look. Oh, currency exchange. Okay, so it's Finn. Sorry about that. I also forgot you want to leave this guy's party. Usually they'll kick you. So here we're going to go into the currency exchange. And then here you can say, okay, say I need more exalts. I can say I want exalts, right? Because I don't have any. But what I do have, and you can see I have all these things, so I got a divine orb the other day. Now, if I only have one divine orb, so we'll say I only have one divine orb, well, that's not going to be 47, but if it was 47 for 10, then I can say, okay, 5 exalts for my one divine, and it's going to cost me 600, and I'll place the order. And then essentially, it's showing me the ratio here, which is 4.92 is the normal selling rate. So if someone decides that they want to buy this off me, they will then go ahead and I'll be able to get it from here. So that's essentially how you do it. You can also put in some more stuff. So say you didn't want this. Something a little bit easier is like regal orbs. So if you... let's go back here. I have regal orbs. Okay, I didn't want to do that. So we go back to Finn here. Currency exchange. Okay. I want exalts. I have regal orbs. And it is breaking on me. Okay, so lesser jeweler orbs. Again, if I wanted 1, it shows you the ratio up here by market. So essentially 1 to 3.8. I could do it for 4, and then I would go and place my order, and then I would have that 4. I don't have 4, so I can't do it, but I could do it the other way. If I need lesser jeweler orbs, which are going to be used to like upgrade these, that's how I would get them. So you can do this early in the game. If you have an exalt, usually you'll get an exalt that drops pretty early. You would then just basically come over, talk to Finn if you have like another character already in Act 3, and then you could say, okay, I need some jeweler's orbs. Boom, boom, where are my jeweler's orbs? It's probably not going to show up. But anyway, you would go ahead and say, I want some jeweler's orbs. I have an exalt. You can buy 4, and then you're also set for the game. So that's essentially how you do it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments. I do try to get to every single question that goes in there. If you enjoyed this type of content or you're looking for more POE content, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell icon. I'm going to be continuing to put out hopefully useful information. But that's it for today. Thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next one.